so here's number 2. This is going to be how to draw the little Pilgrim Boy. If you decide to do both of them, they fit really nicely on a piece of printed copy paper. And if any of you are interested in, this would be challenging. So maybe for you older students, you could paint him. And that's just a sample of painting him if you wanted to. And here's a sample of the little Pilgrim girl painted. Those are just a couple options for you later on if you wanted to go a little further with it. But for today, I'm just going to do the little Pilgrim Boy in this lesson. So let's get started. Grab yourself a pencil. If later on you want to use a Sharpie, then no problem. We're going to start with this face shape, and it's really just 3/4 of an oval or a U shape. And this will be just his face. And you want to make sure that you left room above it for his hat, because we're going to put his hat above it. So don't put it too low or his body won't fit, and don't put it too high or you can't fit his hat on. So this is kind of important. So look at the size of my paper and notice how I'm leaving room for the hat. Okay, so the bottom of the hat, we can actually see where it goes behind his back. So we just make a curve coming across here like this, and then we curve around and we curve around. And when I finish the hat, this is going to make more sense. This is the part inside the hat. So we're going to angle in from the tippy edge on both sides. And it is important you're on the very edge, because this is the top part of the front of the hat and this is the inside of the hat. Now, if you put yourself a nice little buckle here with a square or a rectangle inside of a rectangle, then you can just make a curve going to it like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and angle up for the top of the hat. And then you do want it to slightly curve at the top so it looks nice and rounded. And then I'm going to put a second line on both sides so it looks like a little belt on the top of his hat. Okay? Now, for his collar, realize that the necks are a lot wider than people think. Don't give him a little teeny neck. So kind of bring it out to the sides, 2 little short lines. And then you want to curve it around because our necks are rounded. So this would always be a curve. Then we're just going to come out at a slight angle for both of his shoulders. Now, before you go on here, look and see that this shoulder is about the same length as that shoulder. And if not, you can just, increase it a little bit. Now, if I make a mistake, I can't erase it. So I'm just going to do my best not to make one. We're going to slightly curve into his waist. And just so you know, this is the little boy, so you don't want to give him a really skinny waist, but he would have a waist. It would come in. So I'm going to come in on this side to his waist too. And then because we're going to add another buckle, it'll be easier if you do those 2 little rectangles or squares first. And then curve, because you want his waist to look round. And then curve. So that's his little belt. Now the Pilgrim Boys always have these white broad collars. So if you start right in the middle with kind of like the capital A, just don't put the line down the middle. And then you're going to angle to the side and angle to the side. And that would be his collar. Now he wears a pretty nice coat that's longer. In those days they didn't have very many coats and clothing. And so they always had very long coats so they would cover up more. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to start in the middle. And what happens is the coat kind of splits. And so we're going to angle out on this side. So it looks kind of like 2 rectangles. Angle out on this side. And then we just give it a little bit of a curve because it's rounded at the bottom. So that is part of this coat. So if you were to color it and you made this brown, you would make this brown. And remember that Pilgrim clothes are very plain and simple. Blacks, browns, and grays. Okay, so for his knickers, which are shorts that or pants in those days, that go right below the knee. So what I want you to do is come really close to the edge of the coat and very close to the edge of the coat. And you're going to make kind of a W. So this is the line in the middle. The only thing is you want it to be a little bit flat here, not a really curvy thing. So there's the bottom, and here's the bottom. So those are his 2 little knickers. And then underneath them, just a little bit smaller, we make the cuff on the knickers, which are also at the top of the socks. So we'll go into this inside line and go straight down on this inside line. And then we'll go to the outside line and we'll angle into the ankle. Try not to get the ankles too skinny too fast. Okay? When you're done, they should be close to the same. And you can see mine are a little bit different, but it's okay. And then you're going to make those 2 buckles again. So 1 rectangle, 2 rectangles, and then a little rectangle inside and a little rectangle on side. Now what's important here is that the feet are the same distance from the bottom of the page. So I'm going to make a line here and a line here. That's for his 2 feet. And we just do a little bit of a curve, a little bit of a curve, and then on the outside a little more of a curve. Now shoes have little soles, so underneath it I would put in a little tiny second piece. Now realize these shoes look very narrow because they're looking straight at you. They're not at an angle. So he's facing you directly forward. So we need his arms. Now your hands would go right behind the coat here. We're not going to add hands. It just makes it a little bit easier. So when you're putting this portion in here, you want to start with the very outside edge. And when you come in, you want to be in the middle of the coat here. Your actual elbows line up with your waist. So if you look like if you brought this line in, it would hit your waist, then you're about the right spot. So I'm going to do the same on this side. Now if I brought this line in, would I hit the waist? Because elbows go to the waist and then right into the coat. Now you're basically cutting a little triangle or diamond shape here. Try not to make his arms too narrow. So just angle in, angle back. Now he would have had a little bit of a cuff here on his coat, so you could just make a little curve there. And that part would be white on the coat, and this would be brown and brown and brown. So isn't he cute? Okay, so we need to give him a little face, and you can design your own face, but I'm going to give him kind of a cute little face like he's looking at the little pilgrim girl. So I'm going to do the same kind of eyes. Now these are just kind of stylized eyes. They're a half circle with a flat circle underneath, or a flat curve I should say, a high curve and a flat curve. And then I'm giving him a little angled nose. Now instead of making a full smile, which you could, I'm just going to start in the middle and come up one side. You can see it looks like he has kind of a smirk. If you like that, you can do it. If you don't, just do another one. The way you like it. And I'm just going to put his pupil in the corner here of the eye, like he's looking over at the little pilgrim girl. And then I'm going to give him another curve that you could actually color the iris. So like this could be blue or brown. Now, I think he would look better with just a teeny bit of hair showing up here. Just a little bit of color. And maybe 2 curves for his little ears. Okay? And there we go. Now let me show you one that I already colored so you can see it. Every time I do this, I do it differently. And if you want to do both of them together, remember that's just on a piece of printer paper. And this is just an extra fine Sharpie. And then I used colored pencil on it. But you could do anything, paint it. And then just as a reminder, you might want to consider making a painting with little corn stalks. So it's up to you. Okay. So have a nice Thanksgiving. Talk to you soon. Bye.